Okay, this tutorial is going to show you how to install WordPress version 3.5.1 onto basically a hosting server, and in this example what we're going to be using is the O web host. So hopefully you've already made an account, so you go to www.webhost.com, get yourself a free account, and hopefully it'll save you a lot of time. Now what I've actually got is I've already downloaded the WordPress zip from wordpress.org. You can obviously, this is going to be using 3.5.1. Obviously there might be newer versions out. So let's get started. So I've already logged in. I need to go to my control panel. Now what you can try to do is hope sometimes they might have actually fixed their auto installer. So we've got Fantastico auto installer down the bottom. So I'm going to go click on that little link, and there's supposedly these little different tools that we can add in, and I'm going to go add in a new installation. But it's saying that upgrading it, but they also go, hey, if you actually upgrade and pay, it'll work straight away. Yeah, that you're going to fix it. You just want to get our money. So, and I'm a bit of a cheapo. So we're going to go back to our control panel. Okay, now what we want to do is go and create a database that we can actually use for our WordPress site. So what we're going to do is go into software and services. We're going to go to MySQL. Now, what we've got is we want a database that we want to create. So I'm going to give it so it gives us our prefix in this one, and I'm just going to put WP for WordPress. Obviously, if you're building it for a company, you probably want a better name for that. And we need to basically come up with a password for them. Bear in mind, in some of the later screenshots, these are going to actually be visible, so don't use your same passwords as you use for other accounts, because they are a little bit easier to get hold of. So obviously the screen passwords you see here will be changed later on, just so you can't use them. And then we're going to go click on create database. Oh, okay, it's telling me it doesn't like me having more than one. So what I'm going to do is get rid of one of these old ones. And we're going to try again. And yep, okay, so what you can see is it's given me all these login details. Now, what is actually really useful is to actually keep a hold of these. So what I'm going to do is copy this information and paste it just into Notepad, just so I've got the scratch. What you notice is I've got the host, the database name, the username, and also my password. Very, very complicated in that one. And now we're going to go back to the control panel. Now, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to actually get this sort of set up and working. Okay, so from this point I basically need to upload WordPress. Now, because I'm going to be doing some sort of modifications on this, and these file managers that are built in don't always actually work that well, I'm going to basically use an FTP client. So I'm going to click on the My FTP details, and I've got all of my login details here. Obviously, my FTP password, what I normally use to log into the site. Now, you can use whatever one you want. You can use Smart FTP, FileZilla, but as I'm basically at a place where I've got Dreamweaver, and this is already set up and installed, I'm just going to reuse this. So Dreamweaver is a little bit more complex in getting this all set up. So what I need to do is go to my files. I'm going to just manage my sites. I'm going to make a new site, and let's just put this into a temp location for now. Obviously, if you're going to be doing a bunch of modifications on this, you probably want to have set up a proper site. And I'm just going to call this WordPress. Now, in here, what I want to do. Okay, so now I've got my root folder set up. I'm just going to select that. Also, let's give it a name. WordPress O host. Okay. So now that's done. Now, in this, what I can actually go and do is I want to go back, modify this, manage this site. I'm going to edit it. Okay, this is using CS5. Obviously, they look a little bit different. So if I actually go into my advanced settings, servers, I want to basically add an FTP server. So I'm going to get this up. Let's just give it the server name, host ICT. This isn't as important. Okay, I want to connect using FTP. I need to get my FTP address. So what I need to do is there's my host name, and then my username, and enter in my password. Okay, the root directory where I want it to be installed to. Remember this one, public HTML, and I made that other directory called Wordpress. If you called it something else, you put that in. If you just put it in the public HTML, leave it there. I'm going to test it, check it actually works. Yes, it's come with a message telling me it has worked. So I can now save my settings. Okay, it's going to try and press the blah blah blah, download any files from that folder. But there are none actually there at this point. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to reopen my WordPress folder I created. And what I want to do is unzip this folder into it. So I'm just going to start by just copying it into the folder, moving it, and I'm going to instruct it into that folder. Okay, let's just move that back out just so I've still got the original zip if I need it. Okay, but it's actually put itself in its own WordPress folder, but I don't want them in folder inside a folder. So I've got that. Now we need to do a little bit of configuration. We could do this online, but it is just a lot easier to do it before we actually upload it. So we've got to basically configure it so it knows our folder names. So we have, what we have is this original WordPress config sample. Now what we need to do is modify it to the original, to one that's actually going to work. So wp-config.php. I'm going to leave the sample one in there because if I make a mistake, it is always easier to go back and copy over the original rather than trying to remember what I exactly changed. So the idea is always keep some backups. So I've got the wp config up there. I'm just going to open it in my little notepad editor. So what we have here is our main sort of settings. So what we've got is the database name, user, password, and host. 4 things we need to change. Now, if you remember correctly, what we actually copied out before was all those details. So I've got the host. Paste it in. No, it's got the little quote marks around it. I need my username. So my database. Got to get them right. Oh, actually, I'm putting these in the right place. So the first one was the database name. The username was actually the same thing. My password. Always better to basically copy and paste these. Note, I'm not taking the speech marks when I copy these because it's already got the individual quotes or apostrophes at the start and end. And our last one is that host name, the one that I screwed up and put in first. So I've got my host name and replacing that local host. Local host basically just means the computer it's currently running on. Because we're dealing with servers, we need to basically upload it separately. So I've saved that. That one's all done. Now what if I do if I go into this files folder? Oh look, everything is actually already there. Now the final step is to get this thing actually uploaded. So I'm going to click on files. What we've got is this option called put. And what will happen is we get a bit of background file activity. It'll ask us if we want to push the entire site or put the entire site. Space means put it up to the web. Pull means pull it down from the web. And we're going to go OK. and then it's going to spend a big chunk of time actually uploading everything. And so we will see you a little bit later. So after what seems like an age, basically everything seems to have uploaded. All these files here, no error messages, so what we need to do is go and actually check it's uploaded. So switch in, back into our web host. I'm going to go back to my control panel. This time I'm just going to go to File Manager. It asks me to enter my details. I will do that. Okay, it's got me logged in. Let's run through our different folders. And voila, WordPress has all the folders in there. Now, what we need to do is actually go through and configure WordPress, which is our whole next section. So we actually need to go to our folder address of the website. Note, we've actually got the /WordPress after the end. So we're going to go back. Just need to remember what my actual site is. So I'm just going to actually go to that. So ictexample.freeiz.com. Okay, so if I just go to the normal site, oh, I've got my error messages. But that wasn't because I wasn't actually on a WordPress site. We're going to actually try and go to the normal WordPress folder. Oh, we've got a little bit of a problem. So what I actually need to do is actually do the administration section. So I've actually gone here. WordPress has actually automatically redirected me. I could have also just typed in wp-admin-install.php, and that would just take me to the same site. So now I need to give my website a site title. Say ICT Learning, an admin username and password. Okay, obviously try and get the ones that are a bit more strong, a bit more secure, and enter in an email address so that you can actually be contacted. And if you want it to be able to search, probably depending on what you want, when you hit developing, you probably don't really want it to be searched. And then we're going to click on the install WordPress. So it's now actually created, all set up. Okay, on the site, basically there's been some sort of denial of service attack, distributed denial of service attacks, where people have been like flooding them with fake spam emails and comments. So they often actually put in these little bits of protection. So we need to go to our login page. So it's basically requiring people to basically log in. And I'm going to get it to remember me. And now I am logged in and I have an entire working WordPress site, which I can then now go and use the plugins, customize all the other themes. Okay, so this concludes basically how to create a WordPress website and get it up and running. Obviously there'll be later on tutorials about how to configure it all, do all the designs, but have a play, look at the tutorials. Basically go online, do some research, and you'll find some amazing things. WordPress powers about 18% of the web.